Hello. I have been saying for a while now that one of the biggest skills we can use here in 2023 and beyond is the skill of discernment. And instead of talking about what discernment is, I'm going to lead you through an experiential guided practice for how can you experience tapping into discernment and then how you can continue to cultivate that. So I invite you to just make sure you're comfortable. You don't have to close your eyes, but you do have to be kind of in a present place where you can focus. And what I want you to cultivate before going into this practice is this idea of staying curious. So at a moment where you start to pull away from your curiosity, try and just ask whatever that thought or distraction is to just step aside and come back to an open and curious mindset about this. And to trust your initial reaction. So we're going to do a little bit of just asking a question and allowing whatever pops up to be the thing that you work with. Don't overthink it. Don't try to create a narrative around it. Just that's what you go with. Okay? So I want you to start to just get into this relaxed state, and I want you to think of what is something you believe about yourself. So right there, whatever that thought was or is, I want you to use that. So you think about, I believe blank about myself, and you go with that initial thought or reaction that you just had. And now what we're going to do with this belief, and I can already sense in myself and maybe for others that this is going to turn into a story really quickly. So just again, ask that to step aside and just focus on this belief. So this belief, you might know where it came from. It might have surprised you. But what I want you to ask yourself now is, in this open, curious state about this belief about yourself, do you authentically feel that that is true about you? So again, don't overthink it. Go with your first initial, like, yes, no, I'm not sure. And, or I don't want to believe that that is true, right? So whatever you go with, right, I want you to investigate that now. So we have the belief. We've asked ourselves, does this feel authentically true to me? You've gotten a response that you're working with. And with that response, I want you to ask why or why not. Or if it's an I don't know, or I don't want it to be true, just finding out more of like why. And again, just go with the first initial instinct. Don't try to overthink it or rewrite the script. And I want you to sense what's happening in your body as you start to explore the why not, or just simply, why don't I want that to be true? Or why don't I think I know? Now we're going to take it one step further. And this could be a little challenging if you've never meditated or been in any kind of state, and that's okay. If nothing happens, that's okay. I want you to take this notion of why not, notice where you're at with it, come back to the original response. And I want you to start to notice who is responding. Like, what is the version of you or what voice inside of you What part of you, who's responding to this belief, to if you believe it or not, to the why do you believe it or not. Just try to take one step back from this whole event and just observe within yourself. Start to try to draw in a witness. So sometimes it can feel like if you were a hovering piece of equipment above yourself in your mind, or kind of a watching yourself through a security camera kind of sense. But just kind of try to create some space and start to say, who is the version, part, consciousness that is responding to all of this? Okay? So again, it could be challenging. You don't have to have an identity for it. Maybe you do, but you don't have to. You just sense the spaciousness of stepping back or noticing that there's this interplay within you happening. And then come into your body and sense this spaciousness, this part of you that's even witnessing. Notice how it feels in your body. Maybe you feel outside of your body. That could be possible. So this is the state where we want to work with discernment. And discernment is the process we just went through. So I hear something and I want to believe that, or I don't want to believe that, and why? And why not? And who's even the version of me having this debate or responding to this? So we have ample material in the world right now to work with this. So work with this when you are overhearing a conversation at work or in a coffee shop. Work with this when you catch yourself in a judgment and find out what is the thing I believe right now, and why do I think I believe this, and who's even the version of me that's responding to this. This is how we practice with discernment, because so much of the time we just have this initial belief or response to something, and we start to go straight into the narrative, straight into the old storylines, into the scripts that we're writing about what it is that we're upholding in this belief, or how this is impacting us, without actually examining what is this. Why or why not do I believe that to be true for me? And then take that final step back of, wait, who's even deciding this? Who's even having this conversation inside of me? I'm sinking into that inner knowing, that embodied sense, or that witnessing sense. If it's outside of you for now, that's okay. But work with this. And let me know what you find, what you've examined for yourself, and anything else that you have questions or anything about. And take care of yourself.